Well, we're going to go on and get started. We want to be mindful of everybody's time. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys joining us for this and just your interest in our career fair overall. The purpose of this meeting today is to address the format for the event, but then also a few questions that we've already received, and then give you an opportunity to answer any question or to ask any questions and allow us to answer anything that you have that may not be covered in this presentation. My colleague Jennifer Sigmund, she's on the meeting as well, and she'll be monitoring the chat box. So if you have some questions as we get started or as I'm going through the presentation and you want to ask those, she can answer any questions you have in there. And then we'll allow you to ask any questions at the end as well that we may not have covered. So real quick, my name is Chelsea Goza. I am co-director for Center for Career Development. We have my colleague Jennifer Sigmund, who's also co-director, and then we have a team of some fantastic assistants. Taylor Wilson is also on the call. She's one of our assistants, and I think she's probably communicated with most of you. But we have a great team, and we really try to strive to help connect employers to our students and our students to employers. As you all are aware and can imagine, it's been really interesting. An interesting time this year in 2020. We actually had our on-campus career fair planned last year at the beginning of April, or last academic year, last semester. And then COVID happened and we all went home. And so we were really bummed and upset that we didn't get to host that fair. And we certainly didn't want to go the entire year of 2020 without any option for our students and for vendors. So we've decided to do the fairs virtually, as you see there on the screen, November 2nd through the 6th, and offer virtual fairs using Zoom, so using the same format that we're in today. The reason we went with an entire week is we wanted to try the opportunity for segmenting our fairs. That's something that we've really wanted to do for quite some time. Obviously, when you have an on-campus event, it gets a little bit more challenging to segment fairs out. But we feel like having a more segmented format where vendors are able to connect with the specific student disciplines that they're most interested in, it's a better use of everyone's time and everyone's efforts and energy. So we want to do our part to connect you to all of those things. And it looks like I may be having an issue with my screen not sharing. So let me try that again. Share. Does that seem to be better? Are we able to see my screen now? Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So save the date, November 2nd through the 6th, and we have some registration information coming out on that. So I want to spend just a minute looking at the different dates that we have aligned and what focus we'll have on each of those. We plan to have morning sessions and afternoon sessions, and as you see the disciplines outlined on the screen, what that's outlined by is by the student's area of expertise. So for example, the November 2nd morning fair from 10 to 12:30 is for students who are majoring or focused in art, music, theater, communications, and liberal arts. And then the afternoon of November 2nd would be your social sciences, social work, criminal justice, and those affiliated majors. The idea is the students that are majoring in those areas would attend that specific fair, and then the company that is seeking students of those specific disciplines would register as vendors for that fair. And I'll go into a bit more detail here in just a moment about what different majors we'll have for each one to get more specific, but this is just to give you kind of a general idea. Again, we have the morning ones and then we have some afternoon ones. We will have a morning and afternoon session every day except for Friday, and on Friday morning will be dedicated to graduate schools only, so those programs that are seeking students that are going on to continue their education. Cost to vendors for the fair. So in years past, our fee has been $65 flat, and then we've had additional fees for other items. It's kind of that same way, with the exception it's $65 for the first fair that you register for, and then if you want to attend any additional fair after that, it'd be $20 per fair. So for example, going back, if you wanted to come to the healthcare fair, but then you also had an interest in our STEM fair, you would pay $65 for the healthcare fair and then a $20 additional fee for STEM. And I've had the question, what if it's on different days? It doesn't necessarily matter if you're coming to a fair on November 3rd and also on November 5th, it would still be that $65 and then $20 additional per fair. The registration form, there's a link there if you want to take a picture of that and have that for later. We'll also make sure we get that sent out if you haven't received it or anything like that. Okay, now getting into some of the questions that we've received. One of the questions we've gotten is, what is the benefit of attending our fair, and specifically attending the virtual fair that we're offering this year? As I'm sure many of you are familiar with, career fairs offer a great opportunity to network and get to know our students, but then also allow our students an opportunity to network with you. As far as the virtual fairs go, as I mentioned earlier, the segmented feature we feel like would be a great benefit to employers, because it allows you to have that captive audience and those students that you're most interested in seeing. Whereas when you come to the general fair, it's more the luck of the draw, whatever students show up and who you get to mingle with, and it may not be exactly who you're looking for. Additionally, we are requiring that our students register for this. So they're registering and telling us which fairs they're most interested in attending. And we will ask that all students who have registered provide us their resume so that we can create and send you all an e-booklet that has every student's resume. So you'll be able to look at that before the virtual fairs and have an idea of who you'll be visiting with. The format, so as I mentioned, we will be using Zoom, but we'll be using breakout rooms in Zoom. So essentially, the breakout rooms will serve as the vendor booths. So each vendor will have his or her own breakout room. In that breakout room, you have the flexibility to change your background. So the background behind you could be your logo or any kind of company graphic that you would want to put up there. You could also decorate your space in a way that would be seen as, you know, just like it would in a live fair, where the students can interact with you and treat it as if it's your own virtual booth. We will have what we call a controller and a host in the main room. So when a student logs in, they'll see our screen. Our screen will be a menu of vendors in that fair. The student will tell us which fair or which vendor they prefer to go to first. We'll put them into your breakout room or whichever breakout room they mentioned. And then when the student is finished in that breakout room, they'll hit the button at the bottom of their screen that should say leave breakout room. And it'll put them back in the main room where they can tell us where they would like to go next. So the controller will be responsible for navigating students in and out of rooms, or at least in the rooms the student will have to navigate out. And we'll make sure that we put students in and out of rooms based on their preferences, but they will see the menu of all vendors available when they first log into the meeting. A little bit more about the breakout rooms. Like I mentioned, you can create your background. It's pretty simple to do that. If you notice at the bottom of, or in your settings when you're looking at the Zoom meeting that we're currently in, where you have your video feature that you can turn your video on and off, there's a little caret that you can click and you are able to upload an image from your computer to show as your background. So you can certainly do that. But as I mentioned, you can also decorate your space that they'll be able to see on camera if you would rather do that. One of the big things we'll probably need help from you, if you have a student in the room that's not sure what to do next, we're going to obviously do our best to communicate to the students when they come in and even beforehand, but they are required to hit that leave room button when they're ready to come back to the main room to go to their next vendor. Again, the controller for the meeting will be responsible for putting the students in the room based on their preference. So the areas of focus. So I showed you earlier kind of the breakdown by day and morning and afternoon session, but just to kind of give you a more general idea of what majors will be in each one. On November 2nd, that morning session that's for our art, music, communication majors, you're looking at students that are focused in the areas of art, music, theater, communication, philosophy, English that are non-education English majors, foreign language, and those psychology majors that may be non-healthcare related. In the afternoon on November 2nd, so that social work, sociology fair, we're looking at students that are studying sociology, human services, criminal justice, social sciences, public administration, and political science will be in that November 2nd afternoon session. November 3rd will be all of our students pursuing an education type position. So any of our students from Teachers College, but we also have some students that study the recreation in terms of getting a coaching position and things like that. Any student pursuing a position with an educational institution will be in that education fair. I will tell you that for the education fair, we have about 25 student interns this semester as well that will all be in attendance for that one. On November 3rd, the afternoon session is our sports and recreation one. For that, we're looking at our health and human performance majors that are non-education, our recreation, which would be more specifically natural resource management, and then our sport administration, those that might work as a sports director or something for a city entity or a municipality or something along those lines. November 4th in the morning is going to be our business fair, which our business majors include accounting, finance, marketing management, and data science. So that would be all of our business majors. We also have some minors that are focused in entrepreneurship. So any of our entrepreneurial minded students would be in that as well. November 4th in the afternoon will be our aviation fair. For aviation, we have the professional pilot focus, and we also have aviation management. November 5th in the morning is going to be our healthcare related fair, which is going to consist of nursing, clinical mental health, medical technology, any of our students who are looking to go into a career-related position in healthcare. November 5th is STEM. So STEM will include wildlife and field biology, chemistry, engineering and physics, computer science, and mathematics and statistics. And then November 6th will be our graduate school fair. So any of our students who are looking to pursue their education and go on to a graduate program should plan to attend that fair. Some common pre-graduate programs that we have pre-chiropractic, pre-med, pre-pharmacy, pre-physical therapy, physician assistant, veterinary, dental. Then we have our masters in teaching, business, liberal arts, science. So any of those that if your program is a graduate school and you're trying to attract students who may want to attend a graduate program, that fair would be for you. Now we do understand that in a normal year when we would host our fair on campus, you would see a lot of students who may not know that they might be interested in a graduate program, and it gives graduate schools an opportunity to network with those students. And we do understand that a virtual fair that's segmented out in this way doesn't necessarily give that opportunity. But I do want to mention that in the graduate school fair, we do have plans to allow the graduate programs an opportunity to record a pitch for their program. so that we can share that out campus-wide for any of those students who may not realize that graduate school program might be a good fit for them, and we can certainly allow that option. So I would suggest preparing some kind of little pitch for your program to allow us to share that with students. How is the fair being promoted to students? So we communicate with students on a weekly basis through weekly email, and we send information out to them that way. We are requiring that students register, so we do have registration that we can gauge. We're also working through the faculty staff in those specific areas, so meeting with the faculty and staff and leaning heavily on them to motivate their students to attend. And then also our clubs and organizations on campus, so working with Greek life and athletics and promoting to students in that way. But really we're just using all of the internal communication channels that we have, and then working with the points of contacts in those specific areas that are faculty, staff, or organizational leaders to help get the communication out to students. So we do expect to see a good amount of registration. We also expect to see possibly more students attend just because of the format being virtual, and it's more accessible to students who may not have been on campus during our live event dates. And that really sums up all the questions that we've received so far, but I do want to open it up now to address any questions that any of you might have. I think I've seen a few come through the chat. Yes, the computer science option is within the STEM fair. So that November 5th at 1:30, that is where our computer science majors will be encouraged to attend, is that one. I do want to mention we do also have data science, which is our business degree, and that one is a part of the business program. What I would suggest is just any questions that you have, if you would put those in the chat box, and we'll monitor that and answer that. We are recording this, and so I want to be mindful of that and have that available and up on our website soon. So while we're waiting on a few questions, I just want to mention, again, thank you guys for your interest. We're very excited to have you participate. The question about nursing grads, yes, nursing will be included in the healthcare fair. And as far as not being available, with it being a virtual format and drop in and out, we're hoping that students will be a little bit more available to drop in and out, even if it's just for a few minutes. Will we get to do a trial run in Zoom before our fairs we choose? You know, that's not something that we had planned on, but I would be happy to schedule a time more one-on-one to let you test out the system and do that. I'd absolutely be happy to do that. I will give you my personal email, which is gozac@hsu.edu, but you can always email us at career@hsu.edu, and I'd be happy to set that up. If we've already registered and sent payment, we'll be sending confirmation email. Yes, I can make sure Taylor sends you a receipt and get that to you if you've already paid and registered, absolutely. College of Health, is there a way that reps from the 16 programs participate, or would they need their own breakout room? Honestly, Teresa, I would leave that up to you. If you would, we can certainly accommodate everybody to have their own. But if you prefer everybody to be in one, that's fine. I see that you've only done one registration. So what I would ask is just if you'll email us that career@hsu.edu and let us know what your preference would be and how many rooms you'll need. We can make sure to accommodate the rooms that you need. Breakout room to decorate it. In terms of decorating the breakout room, you'll get access. What I would ask is before the meeting. So if you're scheduled to attend the 10 a.m. meeting, if you'll just log in about 10 minutes early, you will have the opportunity to set your background setting. In terms of decorating your room, I would just encourage you to decorate the space that you'll have on camera. So if it's, you know, you have a table set up and your webcam will see all of that, you would just decorate your space. But in terms of just your background, it's just a quick little change your setting to upload the image. You will want to have the image saved on your computer, but we will allow you to log in about 10 minutes before the meeting actually starts to make any of those changes and get everything set up. Great questions. And we'll hang out if anybody has any more. I've gone on and put our contact details there on the screen for any of you that need to reach out to us or give us kind of some further direction on what you need, but we certainly want to get everything taken care of. And we will have some of the assistants available to kind of navigate within breakout rooms and help you in any way. I'll tell you too that with the breakout rooms, there's a way that you can send a message to the host. So we'll kind of make sure you're aware of that, but it's an easy little button in that breakout room that says message host when you go to chat. And if you have any problems or anything, we'll be right there to help. But we actually have tested this out and it seems to work really, really well. And we use Zoom for quite a few of our events, and it seems to go pretty well. As far as the main room goes, you guys will be in your breakout rooms, and I'm assuming, Teresa, this is specific to that graduate school fair with the pitch part. What we'll ask is that at the end of the fair, so when we start getting to closing time, and each fair is scheduled for about 2.5 hours, so the morning one will end around 12:30, and then the afternoon one will end around 4. At the end of the fair, we'll send you guys all a message that just says, you know, we have a few minutes left, and we'll have you come into the main room just for some closing remarks. As for the graduate school fair, we'll probably pop in throughout the fair and give you an opportunity to come into that main room and kind of give your pitch at that moment, because that fair will be recorded. So anything that happens within that, we'll record that and send that out. So we'll do that throughout the day, but at the end of the fair, everybody will come back into the main room. Hope that kind of answered that question. Okay. Any other questions or anything that I can answer? Well, while we're waiting on that, just again, thank you guys. We definitely wanted to offer this opportunity. And as I mentioned, this is being recorded, so we'll get this put out to anyone that wasn't able to attend. Of course, if you have any questions between now and the time of the fair, feel free to email us or call us. We're happy to answer any questions. I will be completely honest, this is our first time to host a virtual fair as well. I think some great things are going to come out of COVID, but there are certainly some things that I would like to see end. I'm ready to be past a lot of this. But we are excited for the opportunity to do the segmented option and give you guys an opportunity to have more of a captive audience. When can we expect the recording? Yes, it is recording. It should download to the computer, and I hope to get it uploaded on the website by the end of the week. So we should expect it up. And what we can do is everyone that attended today will send you an email of the link to the recording, so you'll have that. Okay. Well, if you have any other questions or think of anything, feel free to reach out. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the fair. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.